All right, everybody. Hello, and welcome to another episode of DCTV. Today, we have a very, very special guest. The man, the myth, the legend, dorm room DGens is in the house to talk some March Madness. What's going on, brother?
What's up, dude? How are you? What's up, everybody? Time to it's that time of the year. Best time of the year. So much value on the board. So many games every day. I mean, whether you're betting or not, it's just an unbelievable time to be a sports fan. So couldn't be more excited.
It really is incredible. We got the Players Championship kicking off tomorrow. World Baseball Classic is in full swing. We got Conference Championship week going on in college hoops. And then MLB right around the corner. What a beautiful time to be alive.
Oh yeah. Yep. And end of the NHL season, NBA season. Got random dudes dropping 83 points on a Tuesday night. Also, I want to say, like, what an incredible script by Adam Silver, right? All of the attention on March Madness right now. No one's watching the NBA. No one cares about the NBA. It's like, you know what? Let's have Bam Adebayo drop 83 on a Tuesday night. That'll bring some attention back to the league. And honestly, it worked. That's all everyone's talking about. So gotta give him props for the script last night.
I could not agree more. I thought I was misreading it when I saw that. It was pretty crazy seeing him get the ball literally on every possession in the entire second half. Definitely cool, but to your point, felt like Silver pulled a little magic there.
Yeah, I think that if I shot 43 free throws and 43 attempts from the field, I might have been able to get 60 plus. So, I mean, I think that if you gave anybody the ball that much, they would probably score close to that many points. It's not like, even like he shot that well, like under 50% from the floor, 30% from three, and 43 free throws. You're going to score a lot of points. But yeah,
They they were comparing Kobe's 81 point game to Bam's 83-point game, and the efficiency was just like
nowhere
not
close.
even, yeah, relatively close. He
Yeah,
was had shot half the number of free throws and was way, way more efficient from the field. So,
yeah, yeah.
regardless, cool. We also had some noise going on in the NFL with Max Crosby trade falling through. So that was fascinating.
And then they signed
Um,
Trey Hendrickson.
yeah, it's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Great time to be a fan of any and all sports. And
Yep.
I know you're a busy man, so I want to jump right into college hoops breakdown. Once again, obviously incredible time in the calendar year. We got conference tournaments going on right now and March Madness around the corner. Um, I want to start with kind of your high level zoom out of what you thought of this year in college hoops. It's been one of your most profitable sports to handicap since the day you stepped on a Dub Club. Give me a rundown on kind of what you think of the year thus far, and then we can jump into the nitty gritty details in terms of how to attack this and bet these next couple weeks profitably.
Yeah, I think this is the easiest time of the year to bet college basketball, and similarly, bowl season for college football. We sort of see every single year that's kind of where we dominate. And most people would say that it doesn't really make sense because they think that that's when the lines are the sharpest. But in reality, this is when you have the most data points on teams, one, and two, you also have the most people betting, skewing the lines and giving you value, right? So when you have a bunch of squares taking one side of a game, it moves the line and it opens up value for sharp. So I think that the idea that this is when lines are the sharpest, sure, true, but it's also when we know the most about these teams. We've been able to watch them for the last 5, 6 months, and we also have a bunch of people moving lines in the direction that they shouldn't be moving. It just makes it super easy to find value.
Yeah, and you've proven that. I mean, you've been an absolute heater thus far in March. Last Saturday was a 4-0 plus 8 unit day. You've won in 6 out of the last 7 days. Should be 7 out of 7, but an absolutely brutal beat last evening. Talk to me about kind of what your process is for college hoops in this tournament. We got games going on from the time that you wake up until the time that you fall asleep. Obviously, you enter the tournament and you have, more than a dozen games going on each and every day. What is your approach when you wake up and start targeting the board?
Yeah, it's finding quality over quantity, right? There's so many games that you're saying, "Oh, I kinda like this, I kinda like that, I kinda like that." It's gonna be very difficult for you to take 7 plus plays and be profitable because, like I said at the beginning, the lines are pretty sharp. But if you're identifying 3 to 5 a day that are just off, it is very doable, even for the average person, right? And I think that's where most people struggle this time of year is there's so much to choose from. So it's sort of, paralysis by analysis. You just have so many games to look at that you don't even know what you're looking at anymore. So I think if you really hone in on, 3 to 5 and then take your best 3 or whatever system you like to use, that's sort of what I've seen be very successful is finding the best 3 plays every single day and playing those and not sort of getting distracted by everything else going on.
Yeah. More often than not, I hear people talk about where all the value in college hoops is in kind of the smaller, more niche conferences. You've been able to profit in the biggest conferences in all of college sports just as equally as much as you have been able to in kind of these more niche conferences. Do you find value in certain conferences or certain kind of smaller leagues, I would say?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, right? The lines are obviously the sharpest in big conferences, big games. So it's definitely easier for the average person to find an edge in the Mountain West than it is the Big Ten. But at the same time, you're getting them, like I said earlier, you're getting the most amount of action on these big games, and the lines are way more volatile. When you're getting millions and millions of dollars of bets on a single side and that line's moving 2 full points, it's just easy to scoop in on the other side and take that or whatever. That's just an example. But I think that there's a ton of value to be found all across the board. And I also think it's about giving the people what they want, right? Like there comes a point when we can take UNLV, Boise State under, or Montana State, Montana under 129 and a half or whatever. But people don't really want to bet that. So like we will take that, but we'll also find value in big games so that people can actually enjoy sports betting. Like no one wants to sit there and sweat out an under for 2 hours and two teams that they've never heard of and players that will never play basketball after they graduate. So it's about finding value in those games and winning in those, and then also being able to be profitable in big games that people are actually enjoying because it's supposed to be fun, right? Like we make money, but it's also supposed to be fun. For a lot of people, all they want is to have fun. So finding value in big games is super important for me especially because I want everyone that's tailing to be able to, sit down, enjoy a game and make some money off of it.
I love it. And that's you've been feeding folks a lot of winners. So um let's transition into your outlook on March. I'm curious to hear of a couple teams that you've had your eye on throughout the course of the season that may be undervalued in the market. We chatted earlier today, and you had one in particular that was top of mind. Can you talk through that?
Yeah, I think it's really easy this year. It's Michigan. I said at the beginning of the year, just looking at rosters, that they were the best team in the country, and I think they were ranked in the top 25, but they weren't anywhere near the top. And then they sort of had some scares early. Wake Forest, TCU didn't play very well, and I was like, "Hey, maybe I just read that wrong. Like maybe they just aren't that good." And then we saw them go on that insane run where they were beating ranked teams by 40 every single game for like 2 weeks straight. And since then they've played well. I mean, they're obviously one of the best 3 teams in the country. Um, but they've taken some losses, especially against good competition. Lost to Duke, who's arguably one of the best team, arguably the best team in the country. But I think that loss is actually super beneficial to their national championship hopes. It's very hard to beat the same team twice, and Michigan played about as bad as possible in that game, and they had a chance at the end to win it. I still firmly believe they are the best team in the country by a wide margin, and they're not the favorites to win the tournament. So I see value there. You can get the best team in the tournament as the second best odds to win it. Um, I think that's a ton of value. I also love them to make the Final Four at -160. We haven't really seen them like lose to bad teams. Wisconsin once. What are you gonna do? But I don't really see a path where they lose to a non-one seed, right? So if they get to the Elite Eight, they're going to be so much better than whatever two seed they're playing. They're just going to dominate them. And we've sort of seen whenever they have to turn it up, they turn it up and they dominate.
Yeah.
Them to make the Final Four, I think it's like -155 ish. I see a ton of value in that. And then to win the national championship as well. If I hope that it gets to a point where they have to play Duke either in the Final Four or the national championship, most likely the national championship because they'll be 1 and 2. Um, I don't think Duke stands a chance in that game. I really don't believe the Duke hype. I think they're really good. Um, but if you look across the board, Michigan is way better. I honestly think it's one of the best college basketball teams I've ever seen. I don't want to say one of the best all time, but it's one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's great insight, and I absolutely agree with you on that. Something that people love this time of year is the Cinderella story, the team that comes out of nowhere and makes the deep run. From your perspective, what makes a team dangerous in March, where throughout the course of the regular season they just don't look like that type of team?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that what you got to look for is teams that have amazing wins but horrible losses, right? They play to the level of their competition, and to me, that's TCU. TCU has played some of the best teams in the country very competitively and beaten some of the best teams in the country. And then when they play bad teams, they have some bad losses. But I do think TCU can make some noise. In March Madness if they get there. I think they will, and they should. They have a couple opportunities here to get some good wins in the Big 12 tournament. And if it sort of goes as expected, they should make the dance, and I think they can make a little bit of a run. Sweet 16. I don't think out of the picture. It's a very talented team, um, and I like how they play to the level of their competition. They've competed against some of the best teams in the country, and they've shown it. And another one is Santa Clara. Last night
Yeah.
they lost to Gonzaga. They lost by close to double digits, but I mean they were winning pretty much the majority of the game, and then Gonzaga just went crazy at the end of the game and just drilled a bunch of threes, and Santa Clara couldn't hit water if they thought of a boat. So those are the two that I'm sort of eyeballing right now. Santa Clara's beaten St. Mary's twice, I want to say, at least once, and they've played Gonzaga well a couple of times. So they're hanging around with ranked teams, and realistically, I think they're one of the best 25 teams in the country. So I see them making a run to the Sweet 16 as well.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, Zag's head coach last night, post game, was really pumping Santa Clara's
Yeah.
tires. I'm
Yep.
born and raised in the Bay Area, so would love to see them make a deep run. I've been impressed with
Yeah.
them throughout the course of the year.
Yep.
Um, you've talked about a couple teams that you think are undervalued. You've talked about a couple teams that you think can make kind of a Cinderella deeper run, and you mentioned Duke being a team that you feel like is overhyped. What's another example of a team that folks should be a little bit nervous about, in terms of just being overhyped in the market, getting too much love throughout the course of the year? Are there any that come to mind on that front?
Yeah. I think an obvious one is a couple obvious ones are Kansas and Purdue. Um, I've been saying all year Kansas isn't that good. They have Darren Peterson. He's the best player in the country when he plays. I think that he will play a lot in March Madness, but they have some horrible losses. Like they got blasted by Arizona State. Horrible loss. And then Purdue's looked horrible. I think that a dark horse that everyone's been talking about is Illinois.
Hmm.
And I really like Keaton Wagler, and I really like the makeup of that team, and they score a ton of points. But for a team that they're just too volatile for me. They're too hot and cold. Like they will blow teams out and then they'll lay an egg against a bad team. So when we're looking for, dark horses to make a run, I like those teams that hang around with the good teams and then, you know, sort of shit the bed against bad competition. Illinois is kind of the opposite. They just beat up on on bad teams, and then they get blown out by Michigan, right? So I think that I think they're a little bit overhyped. I think Michigan State's a little bit overhyped. They just don't have the guard play to get it done. Jeremy Fears is essentially a free throw merchant at this point. And I think Florida's overhyped too. They just don't have the backcourt really. They don't have the guard play again to win a national championship. I think they'll make a run. Um, but yeah, that's sort of those are sort of some examples of teams that I don't think can get it done. That some people are saying have a decent chance to make it to the Final Four, Elite Eight, and I don't really see it for any of them.
Yeah, that's great insight. It's fun, just obviously every year that we move forward, I feel like the betting markets become better and better in terms of the creativity that you can put into place, the yes nos on teams making the Final Fours, um, etc. You historically have been a guy that doesn't play futures as much as you do simple game lines. What would be your advice to folks as we head into a very future heavy time of year in terms of, hey, I really like this team. Should I be taking them week in, week out uh, to cover their spread, or should I be sprinkling a bit on them to advance the Elite Eight, Sweet 16, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I would say if you like a team to make it to X round, just take them straight every round. You're paying more juice by taking a future than you are if you just took them on the money line in round one, round two, round three, round four. Um, so that would be my advice. If let you like a team to make it to the Final Four, just take them on the ML every round until then, because you're going to get a bigger payout than if you just bet them straight. Um, so yeah, that would be my advice. I don't really mess with futures too much. Um, yeah, that's just not sort of what we do. It's just identifying value on a daily basis and in straights. We're about to smack our first one of the day. We have St. Bonaventure -5.5 against LaSalle. They're up 17 with 133 to go. So barring anything brutal, we should start the day 1-0. We got two more to go. So that's sort of where we specialize. It's just identifying mispriced lines, looking for rematch spots. Bonnie's up 20 now. And just finding good spots and opportunities for teams to get wins.
I love it. One thing that we chatted about earlier today is finding value in a live format.
Yeah.
You went back and calculated your live bets thus far in 2026, and you're hitting at 73%. Why is it easier for you to find that value and profit, frankly, live versus pregame? You're damn good at them both, but 73% speaks for itself.
Yeah, a lot of people think that they're smarter than the sports books, and it's just not true pregame. Um, the only time that you can really use your brain to have an edge is live betting, right? You have to understand what the data points throughout the game are indicating. You have to understand teams' pace of play, and if they're not matching up, then you can find some opportunities. I'll give you a great example. The other day, Santa Clara was playing St. Mary's. They had 65-ish points at halftime, but the pace was through the roof. And both teams were just shooting horribly. Right. Eventually there's going to be some regression to the mean. And if pace continues and it's a close game, you're going to get free throws at the end. It's a great opportunity to live bet that over because the books aren't really factoring in pace of play. It's more so points scored, expected points in the second half, but you can sort of find an edge there. So we live bet the over 144.5. They finished at 148, 149, and they didn't score any points in the last minute. So that was an easy one. And in hockey, it's honestly the easiest. I don't want to drop too much sauce, because there's a lot of people that pay for literally just live bets and that's all they do. But there's so many opportunities to find value, especially in the NHL. And I'll leave you with this one tip and piece of advice. If you like a team in the NHL and they're a big favorite, 160 or above, just wait. If they go down 1-0, you can probably get them at plus money. And if they go up 1-0, then just don't take it and just wait for the next one. Right? There's no reason to take a team minus 190 if you can get them minus 110 or plus 120 when they go down 1-0 in the first period, right? There's so many goals scored in a hockey game, and we see a lot of these good teams make comebacks late, and we've been seeing it a lot recently. So that's sort of my tip. If you like to bet favorites, just wait. And honestly, if they're tied at the end of one, you're going to get a better line than you would have pregame, right? It'll probably be minus 145, minus 150 if they're tied at the end of the first period or something like that. So that's sort of where we've been finding a lot of value is in NHL live bets. Not so much with that strategy, but a few others that I'm gonna have to gatekeep on the
Yeah.
stream.
I don't blame you for that one. You've been an absolute heater, putting these strategies into place. Great to see a little peek behind the curtain. Any final thoughts in particular, when it comes to conference championship week? Anything catching your eye? We've talked through the value to be found in Michigan to make the Final Four. We've talked through the value to be found in Michigan to win the tourney. Any final thoughts before I let you go here as we get closer and closer to some of these conference championship games?
Not too much. Like I said, we don't really do a ton of futures. I kind of like Hawaii to win their conference tournament. Right now they have the second best odds behind UC Irvine, I believe. But they've been fantastic all year. I kind of like them to win their tournament. And then I don't think Michigan wins the Big Ten tournament. Um, I really like Nebraska. I really like Illinois. And I do like Purdue in the Big Ten tournament. I don't like any of those teams in March Madness, but I like them in the Big Ten tournament. So that's sort of and if Michigan State ends up playing Michigan in the tournament, Michigan State's already lost to Michigan twice. I think that's a good upset spot. So I like fading the best teams in the country in their conference tournaments and then betting on them once we get to March Madness. It's been a super profitable strategy. But as we speak, 1-0 start to the day. Bonnie's wins by 19. They drop 100 on LaSalle. So we got two more. We made 27 units in February, 16 of them in college basketball. We hit at 63% overall. And so far this month we started slow over the first few days, but since then we've just been going crazy and we're up about 5 units on the month. So on pace for another hopefully 15 unit month, which would be fantastic. The goal is to make 10 units every single month of the year. So we're well on pace for that.
You've done it before and you'll do it again. I have no doubts about that. Dorm, I really appreciate you taking the time today. It's been an honor and a pleasure. As always, everybody go check Dorm out. Big presence on IG, getting the Twitter going. He's currently running a $25 week. So bringing that weekly price point down from 100 to $25, trying to put money in your pocket throughout the course of this incredibly exciting time. The dude can handicap World Baseball Classic. He can do hockey.
We
He
are
can do
undefeated
college
in the
hoops.
WBC right now.
I know. That game last night, I'm a little nervous for the U.S. We'll see how things shake out, but
They'll get through.
um,
They'll get through.
I have faith as well.
We're cheering for runs tonight.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We need an Aaron Nola masterclass of giving up 5 in the first.
Yes, I am very down for that. I grabbed a couple futures live last night in hopes of them sneaking their way into the quarters. But Dorm, thank you very much once again. Like I said, $25 first week. We will have that live on our socials later today. Go check this guy out. He's absolutely crushing. If you're into straight betting, if you're into maximizing CLV on the college hoops front, there's nobody better than this guy. So thank you very much, and excited to see how these next couple of weeks play out.
USA is minus 360 to qualify, by the way. So if you're feeling a little bit nervous, they have a pretty good chance to qualify. And they're plus 220 to win it all. So second best odds to still win it all, even though they're on the verge of elimination. So I'm feeling pretty confident about them advancing and making a little run here.
Beautiful.
Cool,
All right,
bro.
my friend.
Always good to
You
chat.
have a great day. Thank you very
Peace
much for
out.
jumping
Let's
on.
keep smacking. Yes, sir. Peace.